What's up, everyone? My name is Zane, and today we're going to be talking about my lessons that I learned through 2.5 years of Forex trading. We're going to be talking about my experiences, lessons that I've learned, and my goal towards the end of this video is to essentially help you take these lessons away to actually start implementing into your life. That is my goal for this video. And so, with that being said, guys, let's actually get straight into it. So I want to start with talking about when I started trading, right? So I said 2.5 years ago, that's when I first started trading Forex. I actually started trading cryptocurrencies back in the beginning of 2018. So I did that while I was at university. It was my last year at university. I did cryptocurrency for I think about 4 or 5 months. By the time I got to the summer holidays, I just dropped it because I think I made a lot of money, but then I lost it, and I just gave up. So I gave up. And yeah, I mean, I didn't really touch cryptocurrencies again by the last couple of months of 2018, moving into 2019. 2019 is when I really started to take it seriously and invest more money and whatnot. Now, I did not know how to trade. I didn't know how to invest. I took lessons. I wouldn't say lessons. I took tips off my friend who was very well vested, but he was more of an investor. And again, I had this very impulsive, instant gratificational mentality. The biggest lesson I took away from my whole cryptocurrency experience at the beginning was the whole idea and concept about FOMO. So that's fear of missing out. There's fear of loss, fear of being wrong, and fear of losing out on profits. All right. I didn't. That carried over for me into trading, and I will get onto that and into Forex trading. But I wasn't sure where I built this habit from. And I actually realized today, it was from my time in trading cryptocurrencies. And so I would remember times where I would be in certain cryptocurrencies where I bought that day or I bought that week, and I'd be monitoring it like all the time. I'd be like babysitting it, and like I'd be out in the nightclub with my friends and partying and drinking and doing all this stuff, and I'll be checking my phone instead of being present with my friends and having fun. I don't obviously do any of that anymore, but that was back when I was 22. I just left uni, so and some obviously some of it was when I was at uni as well. So it was interesting to learn that that's where it all stemmed from. I would literally babysit my trades. I had this extreme FOMO, this extreme need to be right all the time, and that stemmed from insecurities. Again, psychology wise, I'm going to get onto that. But the lessons I learned essentially is to not FOMO, is to not have this fear of loss, and to start learning about what causes FOMO for you, what causes fear of loss, what causes the fear of being wrong or of not being right. Start looking into that and start becoming aware. I think the biggest thing is awareness. Actually, I know the biggest thing is awareness. So it's becoming aware of those things first, because I wasn't aware of it at the time. So huge lessons that I learned from that, which essentially were the foundations for what temporarily became problems for me in trading, especially obviously in Forex trading. And so it was just becoming aware of that, and it was crazy because today I became 100% aware of where the original root of that cause was from. It was from my time trading cryptocurrencies. But of course, becoming aware of this is very important as well, and just having awareness. You don't need to really discover the root if you are having FOMO or whatnot, but I would just say just become aware of the fact that you do have FOMO, which I'm guessing you do. Everyone has it when they first start trading. So that's the lessons for me in crypto, right? Essentially, it's just becoming aware of the fears that you have within trading. Now, in regards to Forex trading, I didn't start that until June, July 2019. So it was, yeah, about 2.5 years ago now, moving into 3 years. And it was interesting because I thought it would be different for me. I thought Forex trading would be different. It's a new slate, clean slate. Let's go for it. It's a different market. I lost thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds in the cryptocurrency market. It was not my own money. It was a student loan money, and it was someone else's money. That someone else's money was my dad's money. My dad, he passed away when I was 15, and he left us some savings, which we know, well, mum didn't realize he had. Well, I didn't realize he had. Mum realized that he had. He left it for us, and it was about 50, 60,000 pounds, and I started blowing into that and I was just losing money in the markets, and it was crazy. And I thought Forex could change that, and it didn't. It didn't change that at all. Now I had some initial success, but look, initial success, everyone can have that. Anyone can go on a streak of wins. You know, everyone gets it at the beginning. They have their lucky streak. They make thousands of pounds, and they think they've won the lottery. They think they know what they're doing. They think they're expert traders. You know, I started in July, like I said, and I was working full time in London. By the end of 2019, I had made about 30,000 pounds. No, 15,000 pounds. My bad. I made 15,000 pounds, and I thought I made that 15,000 pounds in like 3 months, and I thought that I could just quit my job because I made 15 grand in 3 months. So I thought, you know what, screw this job. Like, Forex is great. This is gonna make me rich. I know how to trade now. I'm gonna be profitable for the rest of my life. Let's quit my job, and I quit my job in November. It was basically this time 2 years ago. So I quit my job. And I am now sitting at home. My mom's pissed because she's like, what the fuck have you just done? Right? Of course, my mom is more, her belief system is more in that, 9 to 5 is your security and you should be working. And to be fair with you, now looking back, she was right. I mean, she was right to be concerned because I left so fucking early. I mean, it was 3 months into my trading. I made 15 grand and I've decided to fucking quit my job. It's crazy. And it was... I had some fun for a couple of months after that. I mean, I had 15 grand. What did I decide to do? 15 grand at 22 years old with the mind I had at the time was that of a fucking 15-year-old, right? I was so irresponsible. I wasn't partying and stuff as much. I kind of stopped drinking and all that, but I still had a very childish mentality, right? 22 years old, sitting on 15 grand. I mean, I didn't do any personal development until that year. I went to a Tony Robbins event in April of 2019, and that's really when my personal development journey started. And it was crazy because 2 months, I went shopping. I bought mom some fancy stuff. I bought myself some fancy stuff. I went to like outlet malls. I bought, like, I would just go out to all these different shisha lounges and spend like 100 quid on these like fancy pipes and fancy flavors, and eat out every day, nice places. And, look, I thought I was treating myself, and look, I had every right to do so at that point. I'm not saying you shouldn't be doing that, but I wasn't aware of how I made that money. And I think in the back of my mind, I knew that, but I didn't want to face the fear of, hey, I understood that I know that I'm not sure how this happened. Like, I don't think I did this intentionally. Like, the way I made money was essentially, there were times where I made money and I actually did well. Like, I took the trade, I went along with a certain trading plan that I had, and it worked very well. A lot of times I would be taking signals. A lot of times I'll be just gambling and punting onto a trade. And if you don't know what punt is, it is a British term. Punt basically means you put on a bet, right? You put on like a bet for something, right? So that was me doing that, right? And what started to happen was eventually I started to lose money, and long story short, in about 2-3 months, I was back to being broke again. Now this time I was broke, but I had no income. I had no job. I was in network marketing, but my stream of income from network marketing was very small. It was only about $600 a month, which was still pretty good considering most people can never make it past, or they can't even make money in network marketing. So I was working my way up. I eventually started to make $1,000 a month through network marketing, which is pretty cool, because I was doing network marketing at the same time I was doing trading. But it was interesting because that whole time, what was I doing? I wasn't being aware of my fears. I wasn't being aware of what I'm doing right or wrong. I was just kind of in this fairyland. I would shout my goals every day. I would celebrate them and jump up and down and just be, and like any negative I thought I had, I'd push it away. Right? So guys, the reason I've just given you that whole explanation is because I want you to try and grab lessons from this. I might have not specifically said the lessons, but through what I've been saying, things like I left my job when it was too early for me to leave my job, I want you to start grabbing lessons from here. Come up with your own lessons. Come up with your own takeaways from what I'm talking about. as I'm progressing, because I will be sharing specific lessons, but I'll be sharing experiences as well, which, essentially for you, it's not like me telling you. I don't want to be telling you. Who am I to tell you? I'm just some guy on YouTube, right? I'm no one to tell you that you should be doing this and you should be doing that. No, it is up to you. It's your destiny. It's your life. It's your future. It's your journey. So I'm sharing with you my experiences. I've got lessons which I personally learned, which I'm sharing with you. But again, through the experiences I'm sharing, please extract your own lessons that you can get from it, your own perspectives from it, because that's really how we grow. Because one of the ways that I started to grow was I actually started to listen to a lot of different, I won't say famous people, but some famous people, but it's more so just entrepreneurial, successful entrepreneurial individuals, right? People like Tony Robbins, who has a lot of entrepreneurial success as well as success in other areas of his life. He's mastered all areas of his life. Bob Proctor. I listen to people like The Rock. Joe Rogan, his podcast is amazing. He's always got some amazing people on there. So, I'd always listen to different people and I'd extract lessons from their experiences and that I could start applying to my life. So, it's that's what it's all about. I think that's a lesson that if I could specifically give, is extract lessons from successful people. Extract lessons from the experiences of successful people. That's a big lesson that I can give you. And so moving forward, of course, it was all about me in 2020 trying to get back on track and start making money again. And it was about 6 months I didn't make any money, and now at this point I had no income, and my network marketing business was starting to fall apart. And then obviously what started to happen was I started to go down this ditch into this deep dark hole of like, I put on weight, I wasn't making any money, everything was going backwards, my life was going backwards, my mindset was going backwards, and I'm not going to get into all of that, but essentially, it wasn't a good time. It was probably one of the darkest moments of my life. It's not the darkest moment, obviously, but it's one of the darkest moments, and it was very, I couldn't find myself out of it. It was like a whole year of just like being trapped, almost, or 6, 7 months, 8 months of being trapped. And the crazy thing was, as crazy and as depressing and as upsetting it was, that's where a lot of my lessons started to come through. That in that 2020, where I made no money, where everything was going backwards, where I gained 30 pounds, where I started to have breathing problems, so to speak, and the left side of my body was feeling funny, and I was having poor sleeping patterns and all of this kind of stuff, and I couldn't learn from my mistakes. I was still somehow learning. It was very, very strange. I think it was more so pain that was accumulating to the point where I said, I can't take this anymore. That I need to change. I need to move. I need to fucking make something happen. I need to just get out of this shit. Like, this is what was going through my mind towards the end of 2020, moving into 21. And so that whole year I was, there was periods where I would make money and then I wouldn't make money. I went on a streak towards the end of 2020 where I made about 6-7 grand, but then I lost it all. Again, I was like, shit, it's happened again. Why is it happening again? And all of these things started to happen. And I started to go for FTMO funded accounts and whatnot as well. And that was very hard for me to do, because I thought I could do it, and I passed the verification stage. That gave me a sense of euphoria, and then I failed the verification stage, and then that brought me into a sense of even more depression and all of these kind of things. Now, I'm not saying all this stuff so you can feel sorry for me. Fuck that, man. I don't want you to feel sorry for me. I don't want to feel any sympathy from you or anything like that. I'm sharing this with you because, look, this is the shit that you go through as a trader. Trading is not fairy tale land that 15 minutes for the rest of your life, 15-minute strategy for you to make 15 pips a day. Fuck off, man. Fuck off. If people are selling that shit, they are fucking scamming you, right? It's pathetic. Trading is not like that. Trading is one of the hardest industries to break through in, which is why 90% of traders lose 90% of their money in 90 days. 95% of trading is not even the strategy, yet that's what most of these YouTube channels talk about. They talk about strategy. Now, look, strategy is super important. It is super, super, super important. That 5%, it's only 5%, but you need to make sure that you lock in on that 5% and that you go ham and you understand that a strategy that works for you. Right, an advice that I could give to you, a lesson, is that find a strategy that suits your personality. Find a strategy that suits your personality, because there's tons of different strategies out there. And look, not every strategy is going to be for you. I tried so many. Another thing I would say onto that is that not stop trying to chop and change different strategies. Stick to one. Stick to one and learn from it. Just because it doesn't work every single time, look, the strategy is not supposed to work every single time. No strategy is perfect. It's going to take some time. So what you want to be able to do is understand that, hey, look, if I take a loss in this strategy, it's cool. It's part of the process. I just need to see out of 100 trades what my strike rate is with this strategy. Right now, that's easier said than done. Why? Because the 95% kicks in, which is a psychology. Now, you're probably thinking, that's bullshit, man. Like, once you got your strategy in place, it's pretty easy. It's pretty simple. All right, you don't need to think about it. You take all your emotions out of it. Yes, very, very true. But guess what, guys? We're not robots. We're human beings. We have emotions, and when we're on our journey towards entrepreneurship and trading and success in trading, our mindset at the beginning is not the best. Now, I want to show you something that proves that 95% of trading is psychology and 5% is mechanics. Right? So the reason I use 95 and 5% is because it links to something which I've learned about, which is our brain. Okay, now I'm just going to draw something on this piece of paper here. It's not the perfect circle, but bear with me. All right. That us as adults, right? Okay. Just bring this here. I just want to see, looking in the reflection to see if you guys can see this. I'm going to move to one side so you guys can see this, right? So, I'm just trying to peek through here. 5%, right? You guys can see this. The circle represents your brain. 5% is the conscious mind. 95% is the subconscious mind. Now, the subconscious mind is where your habits, where your belief systems, where your values all reside in your subconscious mind, right? And what goes into your subconscious mind as a kid, as a baby, and you're growing up, is your environment, the experiences, the stimulus that you get from your environment, the people that you're around, right? That all goes into your subconscious mind, because we have no conscious mind when we're kids. From the stage of, I think, 0 to 5 years old, we have no conscious mind. Or 0 to 3, we have no conscious mind. So in those first 3 years, you're accumulating a lot. The conscious mind starts to get built between 7 to 12 years old. Now, whatever goes into the subconscious mind comes out on the other side as habits and behaviors. Okay, so if I write this, right, in goes external stimulus, out comes habits. Right? Out comes habits. And the 5% is where all the knowledge is. This is where we're conscious about, where we consciously make a decision to do something, or we take in information. That all sits into the conscious mind. That all sits in your conscious mind, but 95% is the subconscious mind. Now, what am I getting at here? Most traders are focusing on building the conscious mind. They're building all the knowledge. They're building all the resources. They're learning what every single indicator does. They're learning about 10 million different strategies to fill their conscious mind, but they're leaving out and they're not working on the 95% of the conscious mind where all the habits reside. If they've been impulsive since they were a kid, then that impulsiveness will show up in trading. If they have this sense of instant gratification since they were a kid, and they have short patience, and that's built in as a habit and a behavior in their 95% in their subconscious, it will show up in their trading. And so they can learn all the things in the world. They can learn everything. They can learn the best strategy on the planet. They can learn a strategy from Paul Tudor Jones himself. But if their 95% is not dealt with, they will not progress. They will not make money. If that is you, you will not make money, you will not progress, and you will not become successful if you're not working on your 95%. 5% conscious mind, 95% subconscious mind. Get into that 95% and start understanding what happens in your subconscious mind, what beliefs do you have, what habits do you have. Best way to do that, meditation. Again, you're probably thinking I'm going to be talking about the best strategy and this, that, and the third. Look, look, you want me to share all those with you? All right, cool. 5 minutes. 5 minutes, not even that, 2 minutes, I can wrap up everything that's to do with the practical side of trading. If you want to learn a strategy, find a strategy that suits your personality. For me personally, I like intraday and short-term trades. I like to be done within the week. I follow someone called Inner Circle Trading. He's actually on YouTube. I'm not even part of his mentorship, so I'm not promoting him. He's just got a sick-ass YouTube channel, which I've been learning a lot from. I study smart money concepts, right? So study that. Now, there's going to be a ton of different people that talk about this shit. He is the OG. He is a founder of this stuff. He's been teaching it for 25 years. Go listen to him. Understand your FOMO. Understand your fear of loss. Let go of any outcome. Be detached from the outcome. Focus on the process. Start journaling. What else have I got down here? Have affirmations. Understand that time and price is king. Understand that you don't need to take a trade every single day. Understand that price action is what we want to be looking at. We want to be trading with the banks. Risk manage, trade management, solid strategy, and some affirmations. And go through that every single day. That is the practical advice I can give to you in trading. You don't need any more than that. You don't need any more than that. Maybe something else I could say is that have a solid risk to reward for your trades. 1 to 3 minimum. Details I can definitely go into, and I probably will go into details of specific strategies and stuff in other videos, but that's it. That's really it. 95% your subconscious mind, this is where visualization comes in. This is where meditation comes in. This is where affirmations comes in. This is where grabbing a piece of paper and writing down who you want to become, who that version of yourself is that is making millions from the Forex market. I need you to write that down or type it up or visualize it. Think about who that person is. What does that person do? What are his or her habits? What is that person's behaviors? What does that person do on a day-to-day basis? What's that person like on the charts? What's that person's morning routine like? Just come up with these different ideas, guys, because this is what's going to start allowing you to tap into your 95%. Start becoming conscious of some of the bad habits that you do have, and you can start replacing them with some of the good habits which you want your highest version of yourself to have, and you can be that person right now, right? That 95% is key. Start with meditation. Start with listening to Joe Dispenza. That's another person I can recommend. Start working on your psychology. Start developing an investor's mindset, because, again, I will say it one more time, 5% of trading is mechanics. 95% of trading is your psychology. The reason why people don't progress in trading is because they're learning all the strategies in the world, but they don't want to change as people, and they don't want to change their habits and their behaviors, and they're not changing 95%, which is what's controlling them. The subconscious mind is the body, right? You think about a very simple example. You learn to start driving. At the beginning, you're very conscious, you're taking everything in, and obviously you're taking in all the information, and then you're starting to apply that information while you're driving with your instructor. Through repetition over time, once you pass your driving test, you're still a bit conscious because it's still fairly new. But over time, you're doing it repetitively over and over and over and over and over again, to the point where you can listen to music, you can talk to someone, you can almost be on the phone to someone on a Bluetooth. You could be thinking about something completely differently, but your subconscious mind is controlling your driving, because your subconscious mind understands, it's done it so many times, so it knows when to indicate, it knows when to shift gears, it knows when to go around the roundabout, it knows when a car's coming, it knows the mirrors around your car to look into, the side mirror, the rear view, over your shoulder. It knows how to do all that because you've trained your mind to do it over time. That's you now being run by your subconscious mind. You don't even need to think about it consciously. Imagine if you can get to the point in your trading where you don't even need to think about how a specific trading strategy or trade will line up. You just intuitively know what's going to happen, because you've repetitively done it through back testing, through implementing the strategy over and over and over again, through back testing, through forward testing, through live testing, that over time you get to a point where it's just like boom, like I can just look at a chart and I understand where the trade is coming from. That I've risk managed enough times where like my brain won't even let me over leverage anymore. I've trade managed enough times where my brain won't let me hold on to a trade longer than I need to, because I put practices and processes in place. And so that actually mitigates a lot of emotion, right? It mitigates that fear of loss, that fear of winners turning into a loss, when you have solid trade management in place. When you have solid risk management in place, you're not scared of losing the trade because you're accepting the risk. This is all the 95%. And look, this video has probably gone on in a completely different direction to what I intended it to. I definitely did want to do the circle thing with the brain. I definitely wanted to share that with you, but I mean, the notes that I had for this, I think I've only mentioned like 5% of them. But I'm glad I've started to talk about this, because look, these are the lessons. These are the things that I was learning about. The psychology is so important. You know, learning to let go and following the process, a huge one. Another thing, it's taught me a lot about myself. You know, 2 years ago, I was a completely different person. If I saw myself 2 years ago, I wouldn't be able to recognize that person. It's a completely different person. It was a completely different person. And it's taught me a lot about myself, my habits, my belief systems, my values, certain experiences that I've had in my life, which caused me to be a certain way, you know, be a nice guy, be a people pleaser, not be bold, you know, doing things like no-fap, doing things like going on keto, I'm on a ketogenic diet, you know, hitting the gym, doing meditations, doing love meditations, being more loving and caring towards myself, being loving and caring towards others, stop blaming my parents for the way I am and my upbringing for the way I am, and start taking responsibility. It's all these things that are actually outside of trading which started to affect my trading in a positive way. So it's all about psychology, guys. You got to work on you. Trading is not, all right, cool, I'll grab a strategy and I'll learn it, that's great. If you pick up a strategy and you start making money from it, that's great. Guys, I did that for a few months and it was working really well until it didn't, because I wasn't conscious about everything I was doing. A huge one I can say as well, I think I mentioned it earlier, journaling. Journaling allows you to delve into your psychology. Journaling allows you to delve into what works with your strategy and what doesn't work with your strategy. Again, this video may not be for everyone, but I'm sure that if you are tuning into this video and if you're still here, that is because you attracted this video. You're not here by accident. The people who aren't ready for this video, the people who aren't ready for this video clicked on this video and left very quickly, or they didn't see this video come up on their suggested videos at all. If you are watching this video right now, and if you're watched up till this point, you are someone who is ready to hear this information. You are ready. The universe, God, whoever you believe in, whatever higher power you believe in, they brought this to you because they felt that you're ready to listen to this information, to take in this information. Because certain things didn't come into my life until I felt like, yeah, I am actually ready. Like, I've read this stuff and I've studied this stuff, and yeah, you know what? This came at the perfect time. And I'm not trying to seek to learn specific things all the time. I let information come to me because that's how it works. I have an intention to learn. Let's say I have an intention to understand how my brain works. I'm not saying I need to learn from this specific person to go to this specific event and do this, that, third. No, I just have this intention that I want to learn more about the brain. What comes into my path? Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Joe Dispenza. I know I wanted to learn more about the brain. And guys, 15 years ago, how old was I? Yeah, 15 years ago, I was probably like 10 or 11, right? I said that I wanted to learn quantum physics. The fuck did I know what that meant 15 years ago when I was like 11 or 12, right? It was 10, 15 years ago, something like that, yeah. The fuck was I supposed to know what quantum physics was? I enjoyed physics. The word quantum sounded cool, and I know it was a very complicated area of physics, and so I just thought, fuck it, you know, I've always been a high achiever, I guess, so ever since I was young, so I just said, yeah, I want to learn quantum physics. right? I want to learn quantum physics. Now, realizing now what quantum physics is, it baffles me, because what I'm learning about the brain and what I'm learning about things about meditation, about who we are as people, I'm learning quantum physics, guys. The book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, is all about quantum physics. And it's crazy how I set an intention as a kid, and 10, 15 years later, that manifested into what I'm doing right now. It's beautiful. So what you want to do is learn to let go. Stop trying to focus on the profits. Let go of the outcome and just have the intention that you want to do something and become profitable with this, but let the trading strategy come to you. Have an intention of finding a strategy that works for you. Have an intention of learning and being process driven. Have an intention of letting go of the outcome. Have an intention of risk managing. Have an intention of trade managing. Have an intention of going all in and doing whatever it takes to become a successful trader. Have an intention of following in the footsteps of successful traders, and you will start attracting things into your path, because it's what started to happen for me. I was being intentional with everything in my life, and then I just got to work. You got to get to work, because in the first, I would say, a year and a half of my trading, up till I would say mid 2021, so around June, July 2021, I was not intentional about anything, and I didn't go all in. I wasn't journaling. I wasn't tracking my trades. I wasn't tracking my wins and my losses. I wasn't tracking my returns. I wasn't tracking my strike rate. I wasn't tracking any of that. I was just sitting in front of the screen every day hoping to win. That's gambling. It's like me. I was going to the casino every single day for a year and a half. I was going to the casino every single day for a year. I would say 2 years. 2 years of trading? Yeah, 2 years of trading. It wasn't until June I started to actually say, hey, you know what? Let's actually take this shit seriously. Now, it doesn't mean that I wasn't progressing. I was progressing in those 2 years. Don't get me wrong. And I was, in a way, taking it seriously, but I didn't go all in. I kept saying, no, I don't need to journal. I don't need to journal. I don't need to journal. And when I did start to journal, it was never consistent. Even now, I'm still progressing my way to becoming even more consistent with journaling. I journal every single day, or every single time I trade. If there's something to journal about, I will journal it. Today, it's bank holiday in the US. I think it's Thanksgiving Day, right? So the dollar market's closed, so I'm not trading today, because I usually trade the New York session. So I haven't got much to journal today, apart from the fact that I'm not trading today, right? So even then, I still make sure I journal, even though if it's like a 10-second entry, it's just getting the habit down. So when I started to journal, it started to bring a lot of patterns that I was doing. It brought it to my conscious mind. That I started to realize I was a certain way with FOMO. Oh shit, like I was a certain way when trades go my way, when trades don't go my way. Oh, I'm starting to think a certain way. Oh, this is my language pattern. And I started to become aware of all of these things and become conscious of all of these things. I was starting to become aware. I bought what was in the 95% to the 5%. I took what was in this 95% and I brought it to my 5%, my conscious mind. The habits and behaviors and thought patterns and everything which are lying in here, which were making me feel a certain way and take certain actions, through journaling, made me come up to it. Brought all of that, or not all of that, or some of that, to my conscious mind, bit by bit. And what I started to do, I started to break apart and understand, oh shit, this does not serve me. And now what I need to do, I need to simply let this behavior, let this habit go, and understand that I need to replace this with something else which is more empowering, which is like what? Actually managing my fucking risk. So look, I think I've gone on quite a lot. There's a lot of stuff here which I've shared with you guys. Like I said, it was going to be more of a podcast than me going in through specifically X, Y, Z. Step 1, this is lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3. I hope you've been able to grab some experiences, some lessons from my experiences. Again, I haven't shared absolutely everything. Otherwise, I'll probably be here for a good hour and a half, 2 hours. Maybe I might do something like that. I don't know if that's something you guys like or that's something you want. Definitely comment down and like this video. Comment in the comment section and like this video if you want to hear more things where I'm going into a lot more detail, and it might be like an hour plus of a podcast. But yeah, I mean, there's quite a lot to share. But what I have shared with you today is some of the most important things which I've learned. Which, if I could top it up with one word, it's psychology. It really is psychology, guys. You've got to understand that psychology is the key in trading. Break free of the shackles of your mind, and you will start to reap the rewards in trading. Look, I hope you've taken value from this. It's definitely longer than usual. It's not as clean as my other videos. I'm usually very clean in the way I speak, but today I'm sort of thinking and speaking and just kind of saying what's on my heart, man. And I just really wanted to share this with you because look, trading is a fucking hard and tough industry to break through in. It's not that it's not. It's very simple. It's just not easy. It is tough, but again, don't take my word for it, because nothing in life has any meaning except the meaning that we give it. And so, I did think for a while it was hard, until I started to realize, hey, you know what? Maybe it's not as hard as I think it is. And then you start seeing breakthroughs. But do understand that you do need to put in the fucking work, and that you do need to do the things that other people aren't willing to do. And that's really it. Success is actually, it's not hard, it's very easy, and it's very simple. Put in the work that others aren't willing to do, and you will become successful. And that's really it. So with that being said, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for tuning in. And until the next one, much love and peace out.